Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Creative Contact. I'm your host, Orion. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. If this looks a little bit different, it's because it is. I'm filming this off my iPhone for the first time in a long time, maybe since 2018 Macau airport. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast off the phone. When I was in airport shape, I was there for some crazy, ridiculously long layover, and I just didn't have time to set everything up. And we're kind of in the same spot, not in Macau. Now we're actually in Portugal, but I am in that same spot where I'm kind of ripping and running, and I just wanted to shoot something because I knew if I got all my camera gear out, I wouldn't have enough time to shoot something. I want to get something out there because this is a very special time, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special pod. I want to talk to you about Europe. I'm not sure how long my phone can actually record video or handle this, so I'm just going to start rocking with it. But I want to talk about Europe. But before we get to Europe, this is also a problem because I can see myself now and I normally can't. So now I'm going to be doing all types of weird shit on the screen. But why is this important episode? In a very brief life recap, in 30 seconds or less, when I gave up the music dream a little over a year ago, I started to experiment with different art forms. If you haven't been following along, one of those that I've really fallen in love with is writing, and specifically short stories, personal essays. These, for most of this last year, I've been writing my ass off and was going to apply for an MFA program. I had the different programs all listed out in a nice little spreadsheet with times to apply and admissions and all the character requirements. I had my letters of recommendation. I was taking writing classes online. Pretty much I was ready to go, people. And then I bailed. Why? I decided, I think one of the big pieces of an MFA program, if you don't know if an MFA is the Master of Fine Arts, they're these prestigious, highly funded writing programs in the U.S. that we have. I think a big piece of those is that they are generative, that they give you the space and the time to read and write, and they give you a requirement of writing. Pretty much it says you have to produce this much by this time, so write. If you know your boy at all, you know that motivation is not something I struggle with. I don't need an extra kick in the ass to go get it. I kind of wake up, I spring up out of bed like the Undertaker. No, I'm just kidding. It takes me a little while, but I'm a motivated dude. For me, what I'm really looking for, and what I think one of those programs that I was interested in, was that they give you the time and the space to write. They give you feedback, and they give you people that can continually critique your writing and give you a group, a support group, things of that nature. And so I said, okay, Kia, I'll take this last year and just kind of do my own indie DIY MFA program and just write. I'll take the year off from working because I had that little chunk of change from the last business. Said, let me just experiment. Let me just write as much as possible. See if I can hone the craft. I'm going to learn how to write dialogue. I'm going to learn about story arc and structure and narrative forms and all these things. And after about a year and some change, I finally have a short story collection. I want to say they're more like personal essays, to be honest, but I'm kind of nesting them as fiction because I'm taking liberties with things. And so I don't want, even though they're all based off personal experience, they're very much my own ideas and 2 cents of perspectives. It is an exaggerated version of me. These are also, I write a lot about family. These are exaggerated versions of my folks, of my grandparents, just funny shit and things that I encounter in the day-to-day that I like to write about, that I think are interesting, that I think would be funny concepts, and then I'll tease them out, I'll exaggerate them. So I'm nesting them as stories, but they are pretty much personal essays. If you've read any David Sedaris books, you know what I'm talking about. That's kind of the style that I'm going for. These are all humorous, even if it is a dark comedy of sorts. It's I like that style of comedy. And in another world and a parallel universe, I would have been a stand-up comic, but I just go to bed too damn early. So in this world, in this universe, this is how my humor and jokes manifest, is in writing them out in these kind of short stories and essays. So why am I telling you this? Because I need your help. Whoever you are, if you are listening to this, send food. No, I'm kidding. I need help. I'm too broke right now to hire a full-time editor, so I need people to read these stories and tell me if they're great or terrible or where I can improve. So I've been working with my dad, who's the man. I've been sending them to him. He's been helping me. I have a couple good friends, you know who you are, who I've been sending them to, and they've been giving me critiques. But I realize that I need to, now that I actually have these as polished as I feel like I can get them, I need to get them in front of more eyeballs. I need people to actually tell me, hey, Kia, these jokes are funny. These are flat. This is where this story works. This is where they don't. And in order to do that, I need some help. I need some beta readers. And so hopefully in the not too distant future, I'll have boatloads of money and be able to hire a developmental editor. But I'm not at that point yet. So I'm calling for help. And this will probably go out either on Sunday or Monday, and then I'll do a post on it pretty soon here, kind of asking for beta readers to read some of these stories. I'm not going to force the whole collection on you, of course. I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to create this little form where you can say, hey, I want to read 1, I want to read 2, 3, 4, and then I'll send you some. And it'll come with a little questionnaire where you can tell me, hey, kid, like I said, this is where it works, this is where I got stuck, this was confusing, this just didn't work, period. And I just need honesty to improve. I'm not looking for people to blow smoke here. I'm looking to improve. This isn't to boost my confidence. So there's also a piece here where I understand humor is subjective, and that things that I might find funny, you might not. And that humor, everybody has a different style of humor. It just depends on what you like and what you don't. So that's going to be an option to just say, hey, Kia, I could see this maybe being funny for some folks, but it wasn't for me. And that works too. So that's what I'm here to do, y'all. I'm in this kind of final phase where I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I think there's a piece of this where I feel a little bit hesitant, because I realize that I'm not doing it like the way that you're quote unquote supposed to, like have it fully edited and go pitch it and try to do these things. But I'm a DIY scrappy type of dude. And so I figure this is the way that this is the way I'm going to rock it, right? I'm going to get as much editing and feedback as I can from y'all. I'm going to get a cover designed, and then I'm going to put it out there. And hopefully over the next few months to record the audiobook, because I think that would be a fun project. And I also think it'd be a help kind of bring the stories to life a little bit more. But audiobook aside, I want these to really live on the page as strong stories. And so if you're interested, let me know. You can either shoot me an email, shoot me a message here. My email is kia@kiaorion.com, or message me here. You can even comment on this post below if you are interested in being a beta reader, and I'd love to have you. Honestly, even if personal essay isn't your go-to, if you'd be down to go on a little adventure with me, kind of tap into the weird, dark, zany pieces of Kia's brain, I would love to have you check these out. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be a huge lift. Most of the stories are like 5 to 7 pages. I can send you maybe as many as you'd like, although probably up to 5. I probably won't need to send you more than that. And this is something I want to do too, because I thought this would be a fun little something to sprinkle on top. Would be if you come on as a beta reader and help me, give me feedback on these stories, I'll give you the finished manuscript for free when I drop it. So if you were to say, hey, Kia, I'll read some stories, whatever, when I actually publish them, I'm shooting for like a January 1st, somewhere new year, new me type of deal. You get the book for free, $3.99. So that's a little incentive for y'all. And yeah, so that's the I'll talk more about that. I'll continue to make videos and content around that, but that's pretty much the spiel for now on the book stuff. Would love to get you involved. Would love to hear your 2 cents, have you rip these things to shreds, bust out the scalpel, get surgical with it, tell me what I can do to improve, or what you liked about it, so I can maybe do more of that as well. Now, we're going to do a hard transition into a quick life update on where we're at, what we've been up to, what's next. So the last update I sent out, I was at my folks' place, and I spent about 6 weeks with them upstate, which was great. And then I've been on this rampage to get somebody in Portugal pregnant. I'm trying to get somebody pregnant, y'all. That's the truth. because I'm trying to get citizenship over here. So if you know any cute Portuguese girls that are very fertile, let me know. All joking aside, I am trying to get citizenship out here because I feel like this was going to be kind of Kia's maybe final frontier, or at least final frontier-ish for now, is Europe. Just because I like a lot about it. I've talked about this on other pods. You can check those out. But I feel like Europe has kind of been calling to me for a hot minute. So I've been trying to feel it out a little bit. I also recently started a new gig with two dear friends, Ronnie and Diana. They have this killer YouTube channel called Design with Canva, and they brought me on part-time because I needed, while I was writing, I also wanted a part-time gig that was remote and flexible, something that I also thought utilized my skills. And so I said, hey, y'all, I'm looking for work. Let me know if I could come make content for you or whatever. So I've been working with them, which has been cool. And that's kind of what keeps the projects afloat. And they are in Barcelona. And so I wanted to go out there for a little job training, also just to hang with them because they're homies. So I bounced to Barcelona and was there for about a week. And it was hands down one of my favorite cities I've ever lived in. Wow, Europe is a vibe. I use that word way too much, but it's the truth. It's like these little side streets, and I felt like I was in like a modern art piece just being in the city. Just the history, super cool. I would love to go back there, and when I can afford it, I will. So I was there with them for a week, ate some good food, kicked it, got some Spain vibes. That was rad. And then I bounced to Portugal, which is where I am now. I'm in Lisbon. I started in Porto up north, and it was rainy and cold like the whole time, but I saw some dear friends up there, so that was cool to connect, get some history, get some Portugal, get kind of a lowdown on Portugal. I have a friend who I met at the Buddhist meditation retreat in India, and she's actually a walking tour guide in Porto, so I was able to go on her walking tour, get some of the history, and kind of get the down low on Portugal and Spain and that sort of history there, which was fascinating. But I feel like Lisbon is probably more my vibe. It's a little bit more sunny, if you couldn't tell, a little warmer, a little bigger too, a little more to do, and it's rad, but it's definitely not cheap. And so that's kind of my realization here, is that this whole process of trying to get out here will take me more time than I had expected. I thought I would be able to wrap things up within like 6 months, and very typical Key. I was like, okay, let's jump on it. I got my fingerprints. I was like looking at all this paperwork I had to do for the visa, and I realized this is going to take probably closer to a year. I'm thinking probably 2025 is actually when I'll be able to settle out here, because one, hopefully I'll help Ronnie and Diana build the business, which will generate more income for your boy. So I'll be more ready in terms of financially. And then two, the paperwork just takes time, y'all. You know how it is with visas, especially with these European governments where things are just kind of old school. Europe's been here for a bit. I'm not sure if you knew that. They've been around for a little while. So they've kind of got a way of doing things. They like to do things that takes time. So in the meantime, I'm bouncing to Mexico City in about 2 weeks. I'm staying at a friend's house right now. Shout out Sophia. She's super sweet. She left and she let me stay in her place here in Lisbon. So I'm kicking it here for the next about 2 weeks. Then I'm bouncing to Mexico City. Gonna post up there for a couple months because I really want to knock out this short story collection. Have I told you I've been writing? I am stoked about getting this thing out, but I realize if I don't put deadlines on myself, I'm just going to keep writing because I just love writing new stories, and I'm like, by the time this comes out, I've already written a bunch more shit. So I'm like, Kia, put these out. You can always publish another collection down the line, but get these bad boys out now. So shooting for time in Mexico City to really lock in, get this collection published and out there. And then after that, I'm not sure. Thinking maybe Buenos Aires, maybe other spots that have been kind of calling to me a little bit, but that's all up in the air. So right now, Portugal, bouncing over to CDMX for about 2 months for a sprint, locked and loaded. Gonna spend the holidays there, try to see some friends, gonna try to rope mom into a hangout down there maybe early January. And then after that, a ver. So that's the scoop. In Lisboa, digging it. Beautiful. It is still a little bit cold and wet and rainy out here too, but I guess we're in their winter time, so that's par for the course. I'm looking forward to talking to y'all more about Europe as things develop, as I have more time to kind of process it. But right now I'm under the gun, under the clock. I got shit I got to go do. So hold that thought. Post below if you want to help me out, read some short stories, and bust the hatchet out for some critical feedback. Thanks all. I'll have more story updates, Europe updates, life updates coming your way soon. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, appreciate y'all. Peace.